Hello and welcome to the Oakland County Megacast. I'm Tyler Kieft.
And I am Dave Scott. Tyler, this is the first time we have done the show in two separate studios across Oakland County. You're in our West Bloomfield studio. I'm in our Troy studio. And I have no idea how it's working. Is it working out okay?
Yeah, so far so good. It's going really smoothly. It's really nice.
Right. All right, well, good. So thank you for joining us on the Megacast. So in addition to being all over Oakland County with our stations, we are now all over Oakland County with Tyler and I. So good morning and welcome. I'm Dave Scott. He's Tyler Kieft. Tyler is in our Lakes FM Civic Center TV studio in West Bloomfield. I am in the Motown Digital studios now that are open, thank goodness, in Troy, Michigan. So it's awful good to have you with us. Thank you for tuning in on our great radio stations across the area and over on my side of town where I am right now, Tyler. That includes WAHS, Avondale Community Radio, 89.5 FM. Of course, 88.1 WBFH in Bloomfield Hills, and of course, 89.3 Lakes FM. And Tyler, where can people watch us on television today?
People can watch us on television all throughout the Oakland County area on AT&T Channel 99, both Civic Center TV for West Bloomfield, Keego Harbor, Orchard Lake, and Sylvan Lake, and Birmingham Area Municipal Access, both also on Comcast Channel 15. And you can also watch us on Facebook Live on the Facebook page of our partner today, the Orchard Mall.
All right, so we have the Orchard Mall, and we thank them very much for being with us on Facebook, and look forward to talking to Kelly Woodley later on and see how retail's going. So the big stories today, Tyler, start with yesterday. Restaurants opened around Metro Detroit. Of course, we were in Sylvan Lake at the Grill enjoying breakfast there. Just one of many restaurants to open, and bars open. And Tyler, you know what? You know what I did? You know, the guy that likes to go out and have a couple of cocktails after work. The first night after months of the bars and restaurants being open, I went home and watched the news on TV.
That's a fun night. Did you at least make yourself a cocktail at home or something?
I didn't, but then again, I've been in northern Michigan on the weekend, so this was, for me, it wasn't really new. But I did see a lot of reports that the places were busy all over town, and we appreciate that. So we're going to keep an eye on how this is going. There's a good story today that I just want to take a look at on the computer here, and it says that northern Michigan braced for a COVID-19 surge that is yet to happen. It's been 2 weeks since Whitmer announced that northern Michigan communities can reopen restaurants and bars and retail shops. And in those 2 weeks, there have been only 29 new cases of COVID-19. A good sign for the rest of the state as we get ready to open. So there you have very specific evidence, Tyler, that at least in northern Michigan, where we've not had a real big problem, of course, with COVID-19, at least up there, the opening of the restaurants and the retail establishments has worked out pretty well.
Yeah, it seems like they've really set the standard for the entire state of Michigan as to how to put those safety measures in place, how to enact them, how to train your staff, and it's been working out well for them. And hopefully, as Regions 6 and 8 that opened their restaurants first are going in phase 5 and start those operations, that we see a similar theme happen with phase 5 across the state of Michigan.
So we have taken a new mission, a new project on here on the show, and it is to help Lauren Keniston and all the others who are not getting their unemployment check. So we became aware a couple of weeks ago that someone associated with the program, Lauren, who is the girlfriend of the producer, Captain Jeff of the show, wasn't getting her unemployment. She works at a downtown establishment in the event business, and she never got her unemployment. She was laid off in March? Early March, Tyler. Laid off in early March, never got an iota of money from the state of Michigan. And she did all the paperwork. She's done everything she could do. So we had her on the show yesterday, as you well know, Tyler, and she told us her story, and she's just not getting any feedback. She's waiting and waiting. She even went to the extent of calling some people in state government for a little bit of help, and nada, zero, nothing. And then, in addition, to make matters worse for people like Lauren who don't have the unemployment checks, they're not coming in because there was some snafu of one kind or another. Now we find out, to make matters even worse, that there are fraudsters out there, or at least the state alleges there are. There are people that are defrauding the unemployment system, and now the state's only way of resolving that matter is to stop paying more people that should be getting their unemployment checks, their unemployment. So the state's answer, and I do take a little bit of issue with this, the state's answer is to just stop sending out the unemployment checks until they can figure out what's going on with the fraud. And if it's anything like the way they try to combat fraud with the fraud from our income tax return, and we all know, unless you've had your head buried in the sand, that there is an ongoing problem with your income tax returns in the federal and state level. And people have been fraudulently sending in tax returns and then collecting the refunds. So the state's way of dealing with that one and that fraud matter was, again, to shift the responsibility onto individuals and just turn off returns for a large segment of the population. And they did it based on my observations in a somewhat arbitrary manner. And now they're doing the same thing with the unemployment checks. Well, good news, because here on my computer, Tyler, it says Michigan Attorney Jennifer Lord is putting together legal action against the state of Michigan for freezing unemployment benefits for nearly 350,000 residents. And I don't know, I'm a little teed off about the whole thing, and I just don't think it's right. And so we're working on it. So yesterday we made a bunch of phone calls. We're going to have Lauren on the show every day until we can figure out what's going on with her unemployment. Now, Tyler, I want to be careful that I make sure I explain Lauren's situation and the overall issue. Lauren never got a penny,
Right.
Not one dime, not 1 cent of her unemployment. And this is March. How many payrolls has that been since early March? What? You got to figure at least a couple of months. A couple in March, a couple more payrolls. Now we're up to 4. A couple of more payrolls in April.
Right.
A couple of more payrolls in May. My hands are getting full here. Okay, that's 6 paychecks maybe. And, now we're into June. She's probably missed 8 paychecks or thereabouts, depending on the way she's paid. Can you get through 8 paychecks?
I don't think most people can get through 8 paychecks without receiving a single dime. No.
No, and that's what unemployment is there for.
Exactly.
Okay, and if the system is so bogged down that she can't even get through the system to find out what's her little problem, and then now on top of it, we're going to start turning off unemployment checks for another 350,000 people, no fault of their own, because some other jerks out there are trying to defraud the state of Michigan, and the state of Michigan doesn't have the wherewithal to isolate those, so they decide, well, we're just going to turn off unemployment checks. Now, Tyler, if I wasn't so cynical, or if I was more cynical, I should say, I might think that the state just doesn't want to send out that money because they're tight on cash right now. But I'm not going to say that. I didn't say that, did I?
No, I didn't hear anything
Okay, good.
along those lines.
So, to recap here, and then we'll move on. So we're working on Lauren's issue, not just because Lauren is a girlfriend of Jeff, the producer, because he makes huge money working on this show, and I'm sure they're getting by just fine. But it just isn't right, Tyler. It's just not right, and we got to see what we can do to help her. So, to that point, while we don't have her on the air today, we did make some phone calls to some of our very good friends in Lansing, and they were going to start working on it. And then we found out that Lauren, her residence, as Jeff's is in Royal Oak. So we have reached out through some people, to her state representative and her senator, and we are working on it. Now, I did get some intel back from some of our friends in Lansing. They said, in a normal situation, chasing these things down isn't that difficult, and they can usually get some results in another day or two. But right now, chasing this down, even if you call your state lawmaker, and that's the person to call when you run into some kind of a problem with state government and you can't get through the bureaucracy, you call your state representative or your state senator, and they have people in their offices to help you with these matters, right? But even they say that the system is overwhelmed, and there are people that normally would answer those questions maybe working from home, and they can't get it. So I implore our lawmakers who are friends of this show to help us to get to the bottom of this, and we can't allow, on behalf of the 350,000 people around the state of Michigan who are going to lose their unemployment checks, and the people like Lauren who never got their unemployment check in the first place. And let's say there's another, I don't know, let's just guess, let's say there's another 300,000 of those. She can't, you think she's the only one, Tyler?
No, absolutely not. There's
I don't think
tons
so
of people.
either. Right, so let's say that's let's be conservative for a moment and say it's 500,000 people, okay? If it's 500,000 people statewide, how many of those people must be in our area right here in Oakland County? A lot of them, right? So we're talking about big numbers. So, Tyler, unless you think I've totally gone off the rails here, I think it's something we now that we know about it, we have to do something about it. It's like the police now, right? The police have a new saying, and I think this is great, and it'll be helpful going forward with that whole situation. The police say, if you see it, you own it. So if there's a cop doing something wrong, and you're cop number 2, 3, or 4, and you see that, and you don't do something about it, then you screwed up just like everybody else, right?
Right.
So, and thank goodness that police are going to be working under those guidelines going forward. So we can't ask law enforcement to do that, and then we ignore it ourselves.
No.
So, Tyler, I'm sorry. I know I'm taking a lot of time on the show today, but we saw this and we own it now. So, we're just going to take this on. We tried to help these restaurants when they were all closed down and get some information, and now we're going to try to help Lauren. And Lauren is respectfully the poster child of a situation that is terribly out of hand and needs to be fixed, and I can't think of anything that's more important right now. So we'll be asking state government to work together to solve this problem and focus on this. This is something that's important, and there are literally hundreds of thousands of people that may not be able to go out and buy milk tonight for their kids because they're not getting the unemployment check that they all counted on. So we're hard at work. Now, we'll have Lauren on the show tomorrow. She's with her family today, and Lauren is doing okay. But, again, it's having a big impact on their family. Other thing, Tyler continues to make news around the state of Michigan, and we're not going to get to it with our guests today. But there's still an awful lot of discussion about what's been going on in nursing homes around Michigan, and we're going to talk about that. Clearly, regardless of what mistakes were made, that is the most vulnerable community that we have in Michigan, and a vast majority of the negative impact and the deaths from the coronavirus have been in and surrounding nursing homes, and the strategies that we've had have not been the best here in Michigan. So we're going to continue to book guests and talk to some people about that issue, and we'll get to that. And here in our studio, Tyler, and I will take a break in a minute, get to our guests, but yes. Here in our studio, unlike the studio in West Bloomfield where we're in a small radio studio with a really tiny monitor, I have this 80-inch television here that I'm watching with all of our video on it.
Oh, very nice.
No, scary, because
okay.
I definitely need a haircut on Monday. So we're really looking forward to the salons opening up and all of us getting out and getting that taken care of. So that's what's on my desk. Tyler, maybe we can run down real quickly who our guests are today. Then we'll take a break and get back to where we should.
Yes, we got a packed show full of guests today, so let's get through that real quickly. Coming up very shortly, we'll have Lindsay Sikora, who is the owner of Sikora Business Solutions and the Sikora Law Firm. We'll have later on Kelly Lyons from the Cranbrook Art Museum. She's their curator of education to cap off the first hour of the show. In the second hour, we'll have Tara Tomcsik-Husak, who is the president and CEO of the Troy Chamber of Commerce, and then will be followed by Kelly Woodley, the property manager of the Orchard Mall, who is our Facebook partner today. And then to cap off the show, we'll be talking with our very good friend, Oakland County Executive, David Coulter.
All right, they're going to talk about the $10 million in grants that are going out to nonprofits in Oakland County, and their kits that are still, I mean, they've been out there for a while, but they're great for your business as you're getting your business back to be able to have all the tools and all the information you need. So we're going to take a break. We'll be back in a minute. This is the Megacast. Thanks again to our fantastic radio stations, 89.3 Lakes FM, 88.1 WBFH, The Biff in Bloomfield Hills, and, of course, WAHS, 89.5 Avondale Community Radio, Civic Center TV, Bama, Birmingham Area Television, and, of course, we're on Facebook Live today on the Facebook channel of the Orchard Mall. We'll be back in just a moment.
Coronavirus has put us to the test. Now it's time to put it to the test. We've greatly expanded testing in Michigan. So people who think they may have COVID-19 with symptoms like fever, cough, and shortness of breath can get tested. And those without symptoms who work in public can now get tested, as they could carry the virus. Start by calling your healthcare provider or contacting a testing site near you. Learn more at michigan.gov/coronavirus test. A message from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services.
Hello, I'm Dr. Faust, Medical Director for the Oakland County Health Division. Coronavirus disease 2019, or COVID-19, is a new disease caused by a new respiratory virus named SARS-CoV-2. COVID-19 was first identified in December 2019. There is currently no vaccine to prevent coronavirus disease 2019. The best way to prevent illness is to avoid being exposed to this virus. Wash your hands often with soap and water for at least 20 seconds, especially after going to the bathroom, before eating, and after blowing your nose, coughing, or sneezing. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects and surfaces using a regular household cleaning spray or wipe. Avoid close contact with people who are sick, and avoid touching your eyes, your nose, your mouth. Cover your cough or sneeze with a tissue, then throw the tissue in the trash. Finally, stay home when you're sick. For more information about coronavirus disease 2019, go to oakgov.com/health or call 1-800-848-5533.
Welcome back to the Oakland County Megacast. I'm Tyler Kieft.
And I'm Dave Scott Tyler in our Lakes FM studios in West Bloomfield. And I'm with you today in Troy, Michigan, in our Motown Digital studios. We are glad that you're with us wherever you happen to be all across Oakland County, listening on one of our great radio stations, watching on municipal television. Maybe you're tuning in over the internet. Don't forget, you can always go to civiccentertv.com, civiccentertv.com, and watch us there in full high definition. You'll also find our coronavirus page and our Megacast page. On the coronavirus page, you're going to find links to all the articles of everything going on that the producer Jeff put together. And then in addition, on the Megacast page at civiccentertv.com/Megacast, right on there, you're going to see all of the interviews that we've done since the first day. Hey, Tyler, guess what? Guess what? Today's a big day.
Ooh.
This is the 60th broadcast.
It is.
Of the Meg. Yes. 6-0. The big 6-0.
Yeah, big show for us today.
Yes, it is. And I do want to just take a quick moment of thanks and take out a quick moment for thanks to the West Bloomfield Township Board. In their meeting last night, they recognized the effort of the Greater West Bloomfield Cable Commission for their work that we do, and then the work of all of us on this program. And it was nice of them to invite me to join them. But in doing so, Tyler, I just want to let you and the rest of the team know that this is a team effort, and that recognition we received last night, greatly appreciated by all of us. Yours truly, Tyler Keefe, Ryan, who works on the show, Jeff, the producer, Jake, who is doing all of our social media, and Erica Jones now on the show, and I'm sure there's about 20 other people I forgot. So thank you to the entire team, and again, thank you very much to the West Bloomfield Township Board for they put together, I think we're going to get a framed
Yes.
plaque of some kind that we're going to be able to put up in our studios. So that was great. Joining us now via Zoom. Joining us now via Zoom is Lindsay Sikora. She's the owner of Sikora Business Solutions and the Sikora Law Firm. Lindsay, hello and welcome to the broadcast. Good to have you with us.
Hi, thank you so much for having me today.
So thank you for being with us. So what do you guys do? Let's just start with that. Tell me about how you've been helping people during this crisis.
Sure. Well, Sikora Business Solutions is a consulting firm, and we focus right now on helping businesses know what they need to know to reopen. It's pretty overwhelming out there right now for a lot of business owners. There's a lot of executive orders and some legal things to be aware of, lots of new changes happening and important things for them to implement, lots of new documents and forms that the businesses will need. So we're helping everybody implement their preparedness plan and get ready for welcoming people back into their businesses and getting started again.
All right, Lindsay, I think we've only had, about 10,000 orders from the governor that we've all had to interpret that are continuing to evolve, and it's been very, very complicated. Let's start right there. So here in our studios, we are, quote unquote, an essential business, and we in West Bloomfield have been open the whole time. Not so much here, but we are now here in our Troy studios. And we've been, I got a message at the very beginning. We had to put a sign up on the door from Oakland County and follow a bunch of Oakland County's rules. Now we have another sign up on the door about all the rules that we're following from the governor's orders. But I think I got to redo it because they change every week. Are businesses challenged by the changing landscape during this whole crisis?
Yes, very much so. And I often have clients who we've done preparedness plans for them a few weeks ago because they wanted to get ahead of the game. And I've been reaching out to them to let them know that there are some revisions that need to be made to their plans because we do have to keep up with all of the changing executive orders. Some pieces of prior orders stay in place. Some are completely moot and no longer needed. And so it is nice to have somebody on your side, an advocate like our firm, to be able to guide you through that process.
Yeah, it's really complicated. And, and I appreciate what you're doing. And some people are going to seek your advice. Others are going to, just get that open up kit from Dave Coulter and the folks over at Oakland County. They've done a nice job. There are other resources, but you don't want to screw something like this up. Are companies at risk if they don't follow the proper procedures from possible litigation or other inconveniences from their employees? Because, and let me just preface this question by saying the police have not come and knocked on my door. I don't think anyone's going to come inspect our files, in all honesty, to make sure that we're doing this right. But if you don't do it right, what are the downsides?
Yeah, so there are a few things that people want to be aware of. Surely there is liability involved with reopening. And so one of the main recommendations that I have for my clients is do their due diligence and make that preparedness plan. So there is an executive order that's still in place and still active that is requiring businesses to have a written preparedness plan for reopening. And so that's one thing that we're helping them do because there are a few avenues that people can take regarding liability in your small business. One is there's general negligence claims that they can bring against your business. There's also claims surrounding OSHA. So OSHA Act of 1970 really implements certain guidelines and requires workplaces to provide a safe work environment free of hazards that could cause death or serious harm. And there's no question that COVID could be considered one of those two things. And so it's important that you're taking your due diligence, following your preparedness plan, and showing your employees, your customers, and the community that you're doing everything you can to help prevent the spread of the disease.
Lindsay Sikora, the owner of Sikora Business Solutions and the Sikora Law Firm, is with us today in the Megacast. Lindsay, I really appreciate you taking time for us. Good to have you with us. I'm Dave Scott in our Troy studios, Tyler Keefe in our West Bloomfield studios, and we're here with you all across Oakland County today and online, trying to help you get through this. Lindsay, here in our Troy office, we did the best we could. We do have a written plan, and we do have many of our employees are coming back now, still some of them at home. We're leaving the ones at home that can stay at home, but we have had some that have had to come back. And we have the whole check-in procedure. We got the thermometer and the check-in list and all those things. Is there a short list of things that we should be doing that I hope I just hit most of them? Or can you give us some free advice real quick, or just the bare basics of what everybody should already know that they need to be doing?
Sure. So the three main things that I would say all businesses should be implementing and examining right now is, one, their sick leave policy. So whether or not you had one in place prior to this COVID-19 pandemic or not, it's really important that you revise it based on the CARES Act. So the CARES Act is out and it's available, and it indicates what needs to be done essentially as far as payment and compensation and sick leave when it comes to COVID-19. And so we definitely want to take a look at the sick leave policies and make sure that that's following all of the CARES Act and new guidelines. We also want to, number two, consider staff and customer health screenings, basically what you touched upon. Think about what you want to do as far as screening people that are coming into your workplace. You could consider the temperature checks, a quick questionnaire, but keep in mind all that information does need to be kept private, as it is medical information that needs to be kept in a secure place out of the sight of other individuals. And then the third thing would be to document that response plan. OSHA has a great website that has a few forms on there, 10 guidelines that all businesses should know, and great resources, CDC, as well as the executive orders. You want to combine those three things and make sure that you're following them in your preparedness plan. So sick leave policy, health screenings, and documenting your plan for yourself and all of your staff to be informed of.
All right, Lindsay, I'm doing pretty good, but I got a little bit of homework to do now. Thank you very much.
Sure.
The one thing that we do have that checklist in all of our studios, but it's out there. I mean, and maybe I need to figure out a way for people to sign a piece of paper and just dump it into a secret box or something. It's a clipboard with where everybody signs in. It might, based on what you said, that may not be the best approach because their information is out in the public and other people can see it. So, we'll try to do a little bit better in that regard, right?
That sounds great. Yes. Even filing it separate if you want to do something handwritten, or having, Dropbox folders that are not shared with anyone else. That would be something that would help.
Lindsay Sikora is the owner of the Sikora Business Solutions Company and Sikora Law Firm, and she is helping businesses get open one more time. So many of us are doing that and heading back to work. And we're allowed to do that, right, Lindsay? So when the governor lifted the stay-at-home order and said we can gather in groups of 10 and then said we could gather in groups of 100, I assume that means people can go to work if they want to go to work, if they're in an eligible business, and virtually all of us are in eligible businesses, especially those people that go to office buildings and whatnot, as long as we keep our distancing or wearing our masks and doing the things that we should be doing. There's no reason why people cannot be going back to work. Is that correct?
Yeah, so the latest executive order is still recommending that those who are able to complete their jobs from home to continue to do so. But yes, if you need to go to work and you're not within one of the restricted businesses, then that is within the current executive order for you to be doing.
All right. Do you work with businesses other than those of us who are in office buildings, like restaurants and other kinds of businesses? So they opened yesterday, and we had an opportunity yesterday to head out to a bunch of the different restaurants. We broadcast live from the grill in Sylvan Lake yesterday morning. I got to salute Vicki out there. She really did an amazing job during the crisis. She took the opportunity to remodel her restaurant. It looks fantastic, put a new floor in, did a lot of other things. That was smart, right? If you got the financial wherewithal to do that, why not take advantage of the time? And then they put barriers up in between all of their booths. But instead of the ugly plexiglass, and I don't chastise anyone viewing for putting plexiglass in their business, but they put these really nice wood barriers between each of their booths in the restaurant that match the decor, and they can probably leave them there, give people some privacy. And then I think the coolest thing, I like to mention this whenever I can, I think the coolest thing they did, so restaurants can only have so much seating. They're at 50% capacity right now, at least.
Correct.
So rather than take all the extra tables out, they put a very intimidating stuffed animal on the tables that you're not allowed to sit at. And Tyler, those, if I recall, are called COVID monsters, right?
Yes.
Yes. So they've COVID. So, we're seeing some creative things, but restaurants, grocery stores, they have a whole nother collection of challenges, correct?
Yes. And right now I've been working with a lot of fitness centers, because fitness centers are one of the last businesses to be able to open. They're still not able to open here in Michigan under the executive order. And because of the risks involved, there is a lot of creativity involved, and not one plan suits all. So we tailor fit based on the business. And a lot of those fitness centers are really getting excited to find out when that opening date is going to be. And we're helping them get to the point where they can practice as safely as possible in theirs.
They're not opening up on next week along with the salons. Are still, the health centers are still, fitness centers are still on hold even after Monday.
That's correct. There has not been, as of yesterday evening, there has not been a release date for the fitness centers to open just yet.
I'm curious, you coming up with some COVID monster ideas of your own for the health clubs?
Yeah, so we're using lots of barriers from all different shapes and sizes. I have some vendors that I'm working with that are able to ship out to different businesses, all these different types of barriers and notification plaques and wonderful things to help make it look professional, yet effective.
Lindsay Sikora, owner of Sikora Business Solutions, Sikora Law Firm. What happens if we screw this up? I mean, it's not a perfect deal. We've all been doing the best we can. The governor, she made her share of mistakes. We're going to make our mistakes. What happens if we screw this up a little bit?
You know what, I do think there's a learning curve. And I think that if you're really transparent with your staff and your members, that this is an ongoing situation, that you're taking in all of the resources and all of the facts that you can, you hope that people will be understanding. If you show them through your documents, your forms, your posters that are up in your businesses, that you're taking this seriously and doing what you can, I hope the community will appreciate that and be a little forgiving.
All right, you must have pivoted. You couldn't have been doing this 3 months ago, Lindsay.
Well, so I've had the law firm for many, many years, as well as the consulting business. But yes, we pivoted to mostly COVID over the last 3 months, because that's where our clients need us right now. And so I realized very quickly, starting in March, that all of the phone calls coming in for the consulting business were all COVID related. So we've really geared our focus since March to informing our clients what they need to know and how to move forward.
All right, well, I want to congratulate you, because pivoting a business is not easy. It's difficult. We've seen some people do it very successfully, and then we see other people that just feel like their hands are tied and they don't know how to do it. And again, I'm not, I'm not saying anything negative about the people that haven't been able to pivot, but it's hard. But I just want to recognize those that do, that are making it work, and so we salute you. Anything else you want to share about just how things have been going? How are things at home? How are things at the office? What adjustments have you had to make in your life to make all this work?
Yeah, so I'm a mom as well, and so child care was something that we had to switch and make lots of changes to, and I know that's one of the largest struggles that a lot of the business owners, male and female, are facing today. With schools being closed and a lot of camps being closed, even though they can technically be open with restrictions. So I think adaptation is key. So managing your expectations, and that's what we've been doing in the office. And also, like I've mentioned before, being transparent with your staff and keeping them informed, because they're your COVID procedure implementers. So they're on the front lines of your business, making sure that the protocols and procedures are being followed. So that's
All right,
what
we might as well call your firm New Normal Enterprises, because that's really what you're doing. Kelly, thank you very much. Good to talk to you. Good work, and let's keep in touch. Very helpful information today.
Yes, thank you for having me. Have a great day.
Lindsay Sikora, everyone else on the show's named Kelly, forgive me. Lindsay Sikora, owner of Sikora Business Solutions and Sikora Law Firm, and you can go to them on the web if you want to find them at sikorasolutions.com. Sikora Solutions, SIKORA Solutions.com, and you'll find more information. I assume that is correct?
That is correct. Thank you so much for the opportunity today, and have a great
problem. No problem. So there you go, Tyler. I think we're doing everything the best we can. We're trying to get it right, and I thank you. Kelly Lyons, the curator of education at the Cranbrook Art Museum and the Academies of Arts and Sciences summer programs for kids, is standing by. Tyler is going to catch up with Kelly in a couple of minutes. Anything else you want to add, Tyler, before we go to break?
No, that about covers it. We'll have Kelly on in a couple of minutes, talk about the ways that summer camps, now that they're permitted again, all of a sudden were permitted by the governor last week, and what impact that will have on Cranbrook's summer programs, and what impact that may have on children's summer programs as well. It's a key time for their continued learning when they're out of school.
All right, why don't you take us to break, and we'll be right back.
Absolutely, we'll do. We're going to come back in just a couple of moments with Kelly Lyons and more. This is the Oakland County Megacast on a family of stations, and we will return after this break.
Michigan, we still need to stay careful because we don't want to go backwards, back to where we started. So keep standing 6 feet apart. Keep wearing a mask in public. And if you have symptoms, talk to a healthcare provider about getting tested. To move forward, let's all do our part. So stay careful. Michigan.gov/coronavirus.
Hi, my name is Kurt Lawson, and I'm the Public Information Officer for West Bloomfield Township. We wanted to reach out to you, our older adults, to provide information that you may find useful during this difficult time. We want to ensure you that West Bloomfield Town Hall, our Waters and Utility Department, West Bloomfield Parks, and our police and fire departments continue to work hard on your behalf. Information and resources can be found on the Township website, the police Facebook and Twitter, or call West Bloomfield Park's COVID-19 Help Hotline. Please remember to keep your social distance of at least 6 feet, wear facial coverings when you leave your home, and wash your hands for at least 20 seconds with soap. These precautions will help keep you safe during these difficult times.
Welcome back to the Oakland County Megacast on Civic Center TV, on Birmingham Area Municipal Access, 89.3 Lakes FM and 88.1 WBFH The Biff. We're also on Facebook Live, our Facebook partner today, the Orchard Mall in West Bloomfield Township's very own enclosed mall. Joining us today on Facebook Live, and we'll have Kelly Woodley, the property manager of the Orchard Mall, with us later on in the show. But summer's here. Kids are getting ready to finish up school if they have not already, and summer programs are absolutely key to kids' continued education beyond school as they prepare to move up to the next grade. And to talk about some summer programs in our community, we have Kelly Lyons, the curator of education at Cranbrook Art Museum, on the Megacast with us. Kelly, thank you for being with us today.
Thanks for inviting me here.
Absolutely. How are you? How's your team at Cranbrook been?
Oh, great. We're really excited and ready to go with camps. We launch and start our first program actually next week. So we run through August 14th, and we're ready for virtual camps.
So camps, you said virtual camps. Are they going to be entirely virtual now? Because the in-person summer camps have now been, of course, permitted once again under the governor's orders after last week when she cleared summer camps and other outdoor activities. Are you still going to have those in-person activities, or have you shifted entirely to virtual for the summer?
We have shifted entirely virtual to the summer. The safety of our staff and our campers is our first priority, and we did need to make this decision in advance to make sure that we were ready. And once we made that decision, we're sticking to it.
So what are those programs going to look like? What are some of the programs that Cranbrook is going to be offering this year virtually that are maybe similar to past programs or different because it's all going to be online?
Well, we have programs both at the Cranbrook Institute of Science and at the Cranbrook Art Museum. We're really excited about being able to offer them and continue that quality experience that our camp families are used to. So we're still including a very engaged, active live session with our instructors. We have teaching artists at the Art Museum, and the Science Institute will have a lead teacher, and then also pull in experts like their head astronomer to talk about the planetarium, and the head of the freshwater forum to talk about water on one of their weeks. So it just really depends on the week, but we have a full range of our camps, and we will be live in the museums, both the Art Museum and the Science Institute, to look at objects with our instructors. And then one of the key features that we were really excited about is that we have kits that are going home, and they're really designed to have something new every single day. They'll be really organized. We have little envelopes or boxes to open every day for our camp program, as well as they're designed to make sure that our campers can be as independent as possible while they're learning from home. And that means that we've really tried to include almost everything our kids will need. So while we were planning and talking about this as a group, we compared it to sort of the idea of a meal kit. And I know that many families have ordered from those online, we ship this to you and you make it. But this is like, you got that, and you got the knives and the dishes and the cookware. So you'll get scissors, you'll get glue, you'll get a cup to put your water in for watercolor painting. You will get cucumbers so that you can make pickles in chemistry week at the Science Institute.
Nice.
We're really designing it so that almost everything you need is there. Obviously, we're not providing you a refrigerator to put your pickles in, or water. You'll be able to fill up that cup at home. But the goal is that our campers can stay engaged with our instructors during our 2-hour virtual sessions and not have to get up and be looking for supplies in the home.
Yeah, it's great that that's being provided to the kids, and that they're going to have some tangible objects because they've been in school all this time, but they've been learning virtually, and they haven't had that art class where they're painting or they're using a sculpture. They're in science classes, and they're looking at a rock, learning some form of basic geology. So those at-home kits kind of give them something to engage with while they're learning the content from knowledgeable people at Cranbrook.
Yeah, and that's really kind of what we've been talking about so much, is that teachers didn't have the opportunity to plan for this the way that we've been able to do that. So, when a kid comes to our regular camps on site in a traditional manner, we use the art supplies there and send them home with their artwork. So this is kind of in the reverse, where you get to have oil pastels, you get your own watercolors, you get your own hand-cut rock samples from the geologists at the Science Institute to have at home, and continue exploring those materials beyond the end of our camps.
Well, that's good. That's great to hear, and it's going to definitely advance their learning from what they've learned both in school and what they're learning through your programs as well this summer. Having those tangible objects and seeing is believing in many cases. So having tangible objects that you're learning about and being able to engage with them helps you grow as a learner. So these summer programs, they're all virtual now at Cranbrook this summer, and a lot of other local services, organizations, parks organizations, summer camps, and so on are probably going to be doing a lot of the same. But because these kids still need these summer programs, they still need some way to be engaged and learning over the summer. What role does summer programs and summer camps and learning camps, such as what you run at Cranbrook, what role does that play in the forward progress of kids learning while they're out of school in the summer?
Oh, we think it's really important. I mean, for us, we really want to make sure that they have fun first, and that the learning is this extra bonus that they get by participating in the programs at Cranbrook. So, they're keeping up with some science knowledge that maybe they didn't even learn in school. Maybe they didn't get to hold their own rocks. Maybe they didn't get to do a chemistry experiment and make pickles or do something else related to that, as well as in the art museum, where a lot of our projects are really focused on very open-ended aspects, where we're looking at artwork, talking about the ideas the artists use, the materials, the concepts, and we do a process where we focus on iteration. We focus on looking at having those kids kind of get an idea, get it down on paper, talk about it, give them feedback. We even use critical feedback with our youngest students, and it's a really great skill for editing papers moving forward, or just revising their work, being more open to improving their process as they go through anything academic, actually anything in life. So we're really excited about that aspect of how we run our programs at the Art Museum, and just those resources and content knowledge that's there. So we focus on 21st century skills, learning, connecting ideas across different domains. And we've been working very collaboratively with the Science Institute during this planning process to make sure that all of the things we're doing are very complementary and are really going to maintain that expectation of quality that people expect from Cranbrook.
And over the course of this pandemic, have you had a chance to test out virtual programs similar to what you've had, what you're going to be having in these summer camps? And what has the response been from families, from the kids, from parents who have had their kids already engaged in some of these programs while they were also still in school?
We've done a few little tests, but not a full classroom session. But we did have a virtual info session with some of our families, offering extra one-on-one time for families to ask questions about how we're running our camp. And the families were overwhelmingly very pleased with what we have planned and how it's going to be engaging for their kids at home. Again, it was just a disservice to our teachers and our students that they didn't have time to plan for this year. And so we really are reaping the benefit of being able to have put thoughtful time into making sure that we're providing something new, that's not the same online learning experience that kids have had for school, because we were able to invest a couple months of planning and getting these kits ready in our lessons, and how we're going to make sure that we can maintain all of those positive things we have in our regular camps, like having a really open forum and talking about that, looking at objects in the museum, both at the Science Institute and the Art Museum, and having small classes. That's something that we've always maintained as, trying to make sure that students can engage on a very individual and personal level. And then at the Art Museum too, we have a daily blog for our camps. It's something we will continue this summer, so that our families can, feature their kids and their kids' artwork. And we talk about the concepts we've learned, and we actually provide prompt questions for our grown-ups at home, so that they have really engaging open-ended questions to ask their camper about how it went. We do anticipate that a lot of our families will have working parents, even if they are still working from home. And so by providing those questions, we think that's a really nice way to have a deeper conversation with children about what they did in our program.
Joined by Kelly Lyons, the curator of education at Cranbrook Art Museum, and running their academies of art and sciences summer programs for kids, joining us today on the Oakland County Megacast. And Kelly, the Cranbrook Art Museum and the Cranbrook Science Museums, they have programs all throughout the year for people of all ages, not just these summer programs specifically for kids. And with the kids programs going all virtual, what can we also expect for adults that like to go to Cranbrook for recreation for a day, to learn or to explore some history or other information or great art and so on and so forth? What kind of programs can they expect to be in place, maybe virtually, maybe in person, or both at Cranbrook going forward?
Well, going forward, I think both institutions, the Art Museum and the Science Institute, are working very hard to make sure that there are options for everybody who wants to remain engaged with Cranbrook. We also have our gorgeous campus, of course, as well as other entities on our campus, including the House and Gardens and the Center for Collections and Research. And some of those other entities are providing tours of our campus, providing other engaging online experiences, but we're working at a full range of options as we open up the museums, which I believe is scheduled for July 8th at this point for the museums to start reopening to the public. We actually, when the art museum closed, were in between exhibitions, so we need a little bit of time to get our next show up and ready for the public, and we're really excited to have the public back in our spaces. We will be maintaining all of the guidelines and social distancing, as well as requiring masks for our entry. And I think that Cranbrook is going to open in a way that is really flexible for what our public wants, and be able to have both online virtual options as well as very contained smaller groups as we gradually reopen with the state for our in-person programming.
I've been to Cranbrook several times over the course of my life. It's a pretty big area at the Science Museum and at the Art Museum, but there's a lot of also engaging things there too, where it's a lot of hands-on activities and so on. And if you're in a group of people and it's a packed day, it can be a rather compact space. And in the post-COVID world, with all the social distancing guidelines in place, we've talked to restaurants and we've talked to stores about the ways that they're changing maybe their layout or the way that they are operating their businesses and their daily operations. In that sense, to maintain those social distances and those clean surfaces and so on, what can we expect to be changed from our experience in the museum, both art and science museums, going forward?
So both of them will have a limited capacity for the day, and also you should call ahead and make sure you can get your ticket in advance is recommended. And surfaces will be wiped down more frequently. All those things that we need to just sort of make sure that there are less people in the building so that we do have less touch points, and that those touch points can be cleaned more frequently to just maintain that safety that everybody's looking for in the current environment.
Joined by Kelly Lyons, the curator of education at the Cranbrook Art Museum, and also runs their Academies of Art and Sciences summer programs for kids. Kelly, just a couple more moments with you before we got to let you go. Anything else that you'd like to touch on that we haven't talked about just yet, or anything else you'd like to say before our time's up?
Yeah, I just want to again highlight that our registration is currently open. Our first week, next week, June 15th, is actually already sold out. So we would encourage our families who are interested in doing virtual camps at the Cranbrook Art Museum or Cranbrook Institute of Science to head online. And by all means, if you have any questions, we're happy to work with you. So feel free to give us a phone call and leave us a voicemail, or send us an email, and we're happy to respond. And that we're really excited about the opportunity to make those connections between the museum and our campers at home, and with the benefit of having those kits, the art kits and the science kits that will go home to make really engaging opportunities for our kids that will continue beyond the duration of camp.
Well, Kelly, thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. Have a good day. Kelly Lyons from the Cranbrook Art Museum. She is their curator of education and is also their Academies of Art and Sciences summer programs for kids. She runs those programs for the Cranbrook Art Museum. They are going entirely virtual. We'll expect to see some other camps as well throughout the state of Michigan transition to virtual possibly, but they are allowed in person. So stay tuned. More information on that is definitely going to be oncoming from camps throughout our community, summer camp, day camps, and overnight camps, as we continue to slowly but surely advance in the My Safe Start plan, allowing us to come back out of this pandemic. We're going to take a short break, and we'll return in just a few minutes with more of the Oakland County Megacast. I'm Tyler Keefe, joined along with Dave Scott, and the Oakland County Megacast returns after this.
Coronavirus has put us to the test. Now it's time to put it to the test. We've greatly expanded testing in Michigan. So people who think they may have COVID-19 with symptoms like fever, cough, and shortness of breath can get tested. And those without symptoms who work in public can now get tested, as they could carry the virus. Start by calling your healthcare provider or contacting a testing site near you. Learn more at michigan.gov/coronavirus test. A message from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services.
Technology like smartphones are wonderful devices to reduce social isolation in older adults. You can call grandchildren, phone friends, participate in fitness classes, and play games. But you need to stay mindful of scams. Scams related to the COVID-19 virus are rising. These include attempts to obtain personal information from seniors, including pitching unreliable products, advice, tests, and cures. You need to stay vigilant and be cautious. If you feel that you have been taken advantage of, it's okay for you to reach out to somebody you know and seek out advice, or even contact your medical provider. Thank you.
Welcome back to the Oakland County Megacast. I'm Tyler Kieft, joined alongside with me is Dave Scott in Troy.
Tyler, thank you very much, and thank you for joining us wherever you happen to be across Oakland County. Good to hear from the folks at Cranbrook, and also really good earlier today to hear from Lindsay Sikora and getting you the help and the tips that you need to get through these tough days. Coming up in a couple of minutes, we're going to check in with the president and CEO of the Troy Chamber of Commerce, and then back in the West Bloomfield area, Kelly Woodley from Orchard Mall check in as we make our way all around Oakland County as businesses are beginning to open like crazy. And then the county executive checks in too. Dave Coulter will be with us right here on the Megacast. Dave Scott along with Tyler Kieft. Tyler, see, this is not really good television etiquette. Have you seen this mess that I got going on right here? What is this?
It's interesting. Yeah, it happens. Those IFBs are always tricky, Dave. They always are. You know, I'm doing the same thing. I got my headphones on here. I'm sitting on the cord behind me so that it's not dripping down in front. The cord's not right down in front of me across my shirt. It's always a balancing act. It's a lot tougher to be on air than people think.
Let's be honest. We're radio people. We're not really television people. So we're
That's
just doing the best. There we go. Okay, I think I'm all geared up.
Very nice.
There we
Look
go.
great.
Finally. Very good. So thank you. So let's take a look at some of the top news stories that we are encountering today, Tyler. And really, it all begins where we started today, and that is a concern that a lot of people around the state of Michigan are having, trying to get their unemployment checks. A lot of people have had a lot of difficulty, and that has one attorney, Jennifer Lord, considering suing the state of Michigan and taking legal action because in addition to people having difficulty getting their unemployment checks, now to make matters even worse, state is turning off a number of them and freezing them because they are concerned over fraud, and this is going to impact 350,000 people here in the state. So restaurant opening, according to news articles from the other media and from our experiences, went pretty good in Metro Detroit. And Tyler, the restaurant and establishment industry, the nightclubs and the bars and restaurants, they've been watching Northern Michigan and trying to keep a handle on how things have been going up there. And we have a great report today from Channel 7. Actually, yes, this is from bridgemi.com. Great website, by the way, that says that we have not seen a COVID-19 surge in Northern Michigan. A lot of people were concerned after they opened up the restaurants that we would have a problem up there. We haven't. There's not been a notable surge. So we hope the same happens here in southeastern Michigan in Oakland County as we get into the opening of the restaurants here. It's all a matter, though, Tyler, of people doing the things they need to do. The restaurateurs, but all of us as we go out.
Yes, we have to be responsible too, and that I think really helped from what you saw initially in northern Michigan when they first opened their restaurants and retail, and saw the efforts that the customers were taking there, and we've seen that so far on this end also with restaurants reopening this week and with retail. The efforts of the customers are just as important to progressing forward as that of the businesses.
So we have been watching this story about COVID-19 patients in nursing homes in the state of Michigan. And this one is a little bit touchy. We have to be careful on this one because this one is political in that the president has really made Michigan and some of the other states that have been acting in the way that Michigan has, putting COVID-19 patients in nursing homes the past several months. He's been using that as a political target. And so with that said, and just the note that is out there, I want to share this story from Click on Detroit. We can talk about this a little bit, and we'll hopefully, Tyler, have some guests on this matter in the coming days. But the headline on Click on Detroit, Michigan lawmakers demand Whitmer stop placing COVID-19 patients in nursing homes with healthy residents. Controversial positive puts coronavirus patients in nursing homes with healthy people. Reading from the story, a group of Michigan lawmakers is demanding the governor change the controversial policy that puts patients in nursing homes. I thought she already did. I thought she did. Now, there's a link in here in their story that says Whitmer admits to flaws in the nursing home policy. So let's read on. States such as New York have already reversed their similar policies, and lawmakers in Michigan want to know why we haven't done so. State of Michigan is spending about $40,000 each day to convert the suburban Showplace collection into a field hospital, but the field hospital hasn't been used for nursing home patients, and Republicans are wondering why. So, again, there's a little bit of a political lightning rod, Tyler, as this has been an issue that the president and the Michigan Republicans have been poking on the governor about. But at the same time, she's come out and said that they know there's been a problem. So I have to take this article at face value, and we need to do some research and talk to the Democrats and the Republicans and find out exactly what's going on. But according to Click on Detroit, we are still sending COVID-19 patients to nursing homes. And I thought from our interviews a couple of days ago that wasn't happening anymore.
Yeah, it's been confusing all throughout exactly what her policy has been regarding sending COVID patients to nursing homes. It's kind of gone back and forth, especially as of late, as there's been more criticism of it, and it's still unclear.
So here's a statement from the governor's office in this article. The governor is committed to working with anyone on solutions to keep our seniors safe, Whitmer's office said in a statement. But instead of working with the governor, Republicans in Lansing are suing to take away her emergency powers, which will make it harder to protect our seniors as we battle COVID-19. It's time for Republicans to stop political games and start working with the governor on real long-term solutions to protect patients and workers at Michigan's long-term care facilities. That statement doesn't really sound like she's answering that issue. Again, I'm not poking at her. I'm not picking a side here. Just if you look at that statement, face value, she's kind of answering the question with another question. Again, I'm not the reporter. All I can glean from this story is what's being said. But I know producer Jeff, is listening right now, and we'll work on seeing if we can get to the bottom line of this tomorrow. Maybe talk to the governor's office, talk to some of our Democratic lawmakers in Michigan, and try to make sure we get a clear answer from the governor's office, Michigan Dems, or from a nursing home. What is actually happening? Are they putting COVID-19 patients in nursing homes? It might have been that we were told the other day, Tyler, that they're doing a better job keeping them separate. Maybe that's the case. But we need some clarity.
Yeah, we've heard a little bit of both, that they're not doing it, but we've heard a little bit, and then there's been indication that they are just doing that with separation. It's still unclear, in one way or another. It's clearly still creating a danger in the state for our senior population, who are very much vulnerable to this.
All right, so now I see the byline in the story. One of the reporters is Rod Maloney, who's a West Bloomfield resident and a good friend of the show. So maybe we can call Rod, too, see if we can get him on the air tomorrow and talk about this and get his perspective on exactly what he is reporting here. So we'll send him an email and reach out. Just want to identify our stations, and we're going to take a quick break. I got a couple of things that we need to adjust here, and then we will get back with our great lineup of guests in the 11 o'clock hour. You are listening to 89.3 WBLD Orchard Lake and 88.1 WBFH The Biff. We're going to take a break. Tyler, why don't you take us to break, and we'll be right back.
Absolutely. We'll be right back in just a couple of minutes with our continued guests here on the Oakland County Megacast on this Tuesday. We thank you for being with us. The Oakland County Megacast returns after these brief messages.
Michigan, we still need to stay careful. Because we don't want to go backwards. Back to where we started. So keep standing 6 feet apart. Keep wearing a mask in public. And if you have symptoms, talk to a healthcare provider about getting tested. To move forward, let's all do our part. So stay careful. Michigan.gov/coronavirus. Michigan, we're calling on you to save lives. Don't ignore it. Don't let it go to voicemail. It's urgent. In fact, it's critical. Because if you've been in close contact with someone who tests positive for COVID-19, you may have been exposed to the virus. And you could get a call from My COVID Help or your local health department. So please answer the call to learn how to protect yourself, your family, and friends. We're calling on you to stop the spread of COVID-19, to make it safe to reopen businesses and help Michigan move forward. So if you get a call from My COVID Help or your local health department, you may have been exposed to someone with COVID-19. To protect us all, answer the call. Learn more at michigan.gov/contain-COVID. A message from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services.
Welcome back to the Oakland County Megacast. I'm Tyler Kieft.
And I'm Dave Scott. Tyler is in our West Bloomfield studios, and I'm in our Troy studios. We thank you very much for joining us all across Oakland County. Awful good to have you with us on our great radio stations and our online outlets and our television outlets, which include Civic Center TV, Channel 15 in West Bloomfield, Orchard Lake, Eagle Harbor, and Sylvan Lake, and Birmingham area Municipal Television in a variety of communities right around the Birmingham area. We thank you for being with us. If you're an AT&T subscriber, you can tune in to Channel 99 on AT&T and watch us. Just go to the West Bloomfield community links, and you'll be able to find us right away. I can hear some sound, so she must be there. Joining us in the field from I have no idea where is our own Erica Jones. Erica, where are you and what's going on?
Hi, Dave. I am at Roland Optics on Maple and Telegraph, where they have now reopened so people can come in, make appointments, get their glasses, anything they may need. They have such a wide variety of glasses, as you can see all around me. So that's great for people to be able to have that, pretty essential service again out here. They're doing a great job of sanitizing everything. I wasn't even allowed to walk in before I sanitized my hands and had a mask on. So it seems that they've really adapted well to the restrictions of this virus.
Well, it's good that that they were kind enough to let you in. You're doing a good thing. Just to talk a little broadcaster to broadcaster. You're almost doing like the golf course. Tyler, she's doing the golf course reporting.
I like it.
Like it was almost like she's on the ninth tee. The golfer is approaching the ninth tee, and he's picked the proper club for this shot here. You need to whisper, really. Is it very library-like there, Erica?
Kind of, yeah. If you noticed that I was making my best attempt to stay quiet, definitely.
No, that's cool. That's cool.
Nothing.
So, is it busy there? They had a lot of patrons, or what can you tell us about how things are going there?
Yeah. So no, not busy. There were a few people when I first came in, and no one really seems to be out in the lobby now. But people are making appointments, so I'm sure there are some people in the back. And like I said, they have up front here this nice area to sanitize before you walk in, and people can come in, make appointments. Are you guys doing walk-in appointments as well? Either. Okay. But you can just walk in for glasses? All right.
All right. So,
Okay.
Erica, it
Thank
sounds
you.
like they're taking full advantage of the new
Yeah.
opportunities available to retailers where their doors are open. They can get back to operating during their normal hours. And if you have a retail establishment effective yesterday, that's what you can do. And And you could just come on in, and they probably have to keep the social distancing, keep masks
Definitely.
on. But did you get any feeling from the people there that they were excited about being open again, and what they've gone through during this time, or any other feedback from them of any kind?
Yeah, definitely. Excitement about being open again. And like I said, they are for exams, you need to have an appointment. But if you just want to get glasses, you can walk in at any time as long as you have your prescription, and someone will take care of you to get you your glasses.
All right. Eric Jones in the field again. And are you going to pop in anywhere else during the hour, or maybe any other update of just how retail is going? That'd be great.
Yeah, definitely.
All right,
I'll
maybe
head
you
on
can
out.
check it
All
out.
right.
And if you can't get in retail, there's like all kinds of things there. Maple and Telegraph. There's the Coney restaurant. You could
Definitely.
there's all kinds of restaurants right there.
Mhm.
So you don't. So yeah, any other updates you have, it'd be great. Thank you very much.
All right, awesome. Back to you. Thank you so much.
All right, it is our own Erica Jones in the field, just letting us know what it's really like. Tyler, you read all the reports, you talk to all the experts, but sometimes you just got to go in and take a look for yourself. Looks like they're doing a really good job making sure that people are welcomed right at the beginning of the store with everything they need to enter safely.
It is, and with these retailers and with these restaurants reopening, it's interesting because there is no one-size-fits-all solution here for how to reopen safely or how to realign your business. Everybody's doing something a little bit different, albeit with some similarities. So to see another variation of that is always really interesting.
All right, speaking of business, let's move on to our next guest. She is the president and CEO of the Troy Chamber of Commerce. Tara Tomcsik joins us right now from Troy. And Tara, how you doing today?
I'm good. How you doing?
I am doing great. Thank you very much for checking in. Had to be a big day yesterday in Troy as the restaurants and the retailers opened up. And, when I think of Troy, I think of the amazing restaurants, especially that have popped up in the last couple of years right along Big Beaver, which is becoming one of the best restaurant corridors in the state of Michigan. So how are things going in Troy with the big opening yesterday?
It's great. It's funny. A lot of restaurants are still gradually opening. So some of them are opening up this week. Some are opening today. Some actually opened up on Monday, which those ones were extremely excited. And it was nice to see a good buzz going around Troy. But not only that, just driving down Big Beaver and seeing people on some of the patios. And it felt like the world was coming back, and it was really refreshing to see. Like I got an email yesterday, Ocean Prime is opening up today, and they've been shut the entire time. So we're ecstatic about that. I'm sure I'll hit there this week. Even like Park 600 at Royal Park, they're starting to get ready to open up on Wednesday. So there's a lot of buzz, and it's just really nice to see some of these outdoor dining options as well.
Well, and a lot of the restaurants did a good job of the pivot during the time they were closed. A lot of the restaurants had carry out. I think one of the best pivots in all of Metro Detroit was right in your backyard with Chick-fil-A at the Somerset Mall. They moved their whole operation from the food court out to a drive-through with tents and everything. I mean, they got a great brand, and everyone loves Chick-fil-A, right?
Yeah.
But they pivoted so well, didn't they?
They were, for me, I thought they were probably the most innovative and most inspiring, because I did obviously go through that line in the Somerset Collection parking lot, and they were always busy. And it was funny because you saw people so excited to still enjoy the restaurant that they love to go to. And Chick-fil-A, they stood out. They did a great job. And the staff remained what they're known best for, that strong hospitality model and the kindness and the courtesy. And it was just great for them to take that switch and kept, honestly, the Somerset Collection alive as well, because it brought that energy to the collection. And I was super impressed with Chick-fil-A. They are wonderful members of ours, and you're just beyond impressed by what they were able to accomplish.
No, they did a really nice job. And we would be remiss if we did not take this opportunity to talk about the amazing things going on now. So while we were doing, this carry-out time and the curbside and all of that, a lot of people improvised and did a really beautiful job. But now that we're open, we're seeing a lot of new approaches to making it work. Yesterday, we were at the Grill in Sylvan Lake, a really fine place on Orchard Lake Road. If you get a chance to go by there, say hello to Vicki and the whole team. time. And I think I mentioned this to you off the air, that it was the grill that introduced the COVID monster, the stuffed animal they put on their tables where you can't sit, okay? Because, we have more distancing now, social distancing. So they've done a good job with that. And that's just one example of some of the really good creativity that we're going to see as we get back into the restaurants. Doing all they can to make it happen. Are the restaurateurs telling you that even though they're excited, they've got their hands full making their models work right now with 50% capacity at the best?
Well, and the thing is you're correct. Most of them are so ecstatic to just be open again. They miss their customers. They miss their patrons on a daily routine. But some of them, it financially still doesn't make sense for them to open until they get to a higher occupancy. Let's face it, it's a high rent district, and yes, they have to bring the revenue in, and curbside and takeout has been wonderful, but they need butts and seats is the nice way of saying it. But the thing is that some of them are struggling with getting their staff to come back on a timely manner. Some of them are still trying to understand the safety regulations. Some of them are trying to move their tables around so it looks more functional, because you don't want it to look like a crime scene. You're not going to put tape over and say, you can't sit here. So like you brought up about the grill, finding those innovative ways to make your environment welcoming. And how do you deal with the clients and customers if they say, hey, I might be too close to that? There's a lot of conflict resolution models that they're working on as well. So I think from a magnitude, they're happy, but there's still a lot of things they have to figure out during this process.
Tara Tomcsik, she is the president and CEO of the Troy Chamber of Commerce, joining us today via Zoom. I am Dave Scott in our Troy studios via Zoom. Tyler Keefe in our West Bloomfield studios, and we thank you for being wherever you happen to be. Big article, I want to say it was the Detroit News or one of the other outlets about the Stage Deli in West Bloomfield, another restaurant institution that so many people just like to go to for meetings, to get together with friends, to share their heritage and culture. And so it was great to see their story as they opened up yesterday. And we're going to see a lot of other really great stories all across Metro Detroit. Tara, the one thing I want to just revisit with you and talk to you about again today, the efforts that are going on in Lansing with the State Liquor Control Commission to allow your restaurateurs in Troy and in other communities around Oakland County to be able to start serving more outside and also allow for some new carry-out practices. Can you bring us up to date on where we're at with those new rules?
So I don't know how that all turned out yet. I do know we're all in support of that. I know a lot of our restaurants are advocating for that, and we're advocating on their behalf. So a lot of the aspects is we would like to see this happen, but it has to be done safely. So we're understanding of some of the timelines and restrictions currently, but we're already seeing some restaurants transition. So like Sedona, they now have an area where there's more seating outside. They were able to take over some sidewalks and things of that nature. So there are ways to do it, and we are being creative with that and sticking within the rules and regulations right now. But obviously, we would like to see some, I don't want to say alcohol on the streets, but that's the best way of saying that. It's
a tradition, it goes back to Europe and France of being at some little, place, and you're sitting out in front and, having a glass of wine and, maybe a croissant or something. I don't know. I've never been to France. But they do that kind of thing there. So, we could do this here. We can do it in a sophisticated, elegant, and functional way. And then, it's awful fun. Our summers are so short here in Michigan. People love to get outside and maybe go to a restaurant where there is a lake view, get out on a balcony. And, there isn't a lake. We have Big Beaver Road in Troy, and we have Orchard Lake Road in West Bloomfield. There are lakes around, but a lot of these restaurants, they need a little more space so they can make it happen. And so it is requiring action from the LCC, action from the state, and action from the local municipalities. And we, for the most part, from municipality to municipality, there seems to be pretty strong support for figuring a way to make these kind of things happen to help the restaurants. But moreover, it creates a little buzz for our cities, something new, another fun reason to go out.
Well, and I will say the support of the city and the county has been wonderful because they are helping to push this initiative because the success of our restaurants is somewhat dependent on this. So it's a new buzz. It's new. It's exciting. I know I'm going to be sitting on some patios. I have kind of lunch plans every single day this week. So I'm excited to visit my restaurants again. And it's nice to know that the community is all supportive of this as well.
All right, we're going to talk to Kelly Woodley in a couple of minutes. She's the project manager at Orchard Mall as we switch back and forth all across Oakland County. We'll check in with her. And then we are going to talk to Dave Coulter, the county executive, before the show is over and get some feedback on how things are going here county-wide. The good news, we mentioned it earlier, but it's such good news, I don't mind mentioning it again. Restaurants can be pretty happy here because after a couple of weeks of the restaurants being open in northern Michigan, there's not been a big spike in cases, in COVID-19 cases. So clearly this can all get done in a manner that is going to be healthy as long as we all do everything that we're doing. When you went out to the restaurants and you've been going out, have you seen the restaurants, everyone wearing their masks and making the extra effort to make sure that everyone's taking all the necessary precautions?
Yeah, I've seen safety shine. So every place that I visited, I've seen safety be in the forefront. The one thing I would say is, as a patron and as a consumer, to be patient with these businesses. They're learning some things as they go as well. Their staff just came in to learn how to do certain things of how they're going to wear their masks at all times. They're still figuring things out. So go to these restaurants, enjoy the restaurant, enjoy the food, enjoy the staff, but be patient as well. This is a learning period for them as well.
So we're making progress, but everything isn't open yet. And there was an article in one of our major metropolitan papers today about the work that's going on with the organizations that hold big events around Detroit. We're talking Arts, Beats, and Eats and the like all around Metro Detroit, a lot of the downtown Detroit festivals and other activities. And I know over the past several years, and you probably before all this happened, had some outdoor fun activities going on in Troy. Are we going to see anything? Do you have any update or any idea of how plans are going for anything else that might be going on outside the summer? Is it still too early to know?
It's still too early to know. I'm seeing a lot more plans around September. So early September, we're looking at some more fall activities. The chamber itself, we postponed all of our pretty much in-person events with the exception of maybe some walking tours and things like that. We can have conversation, but our bigger events, one of our events traditionally brings almost 500 people in, and we've had to postpone it. And we're hopeful to have it in September, but everything's kind of up in the air. The feedback we're getting is people want to get out there, but they want to do it safely, and they're still not yet comfortable for the larger based events. So we're going to work as good as we can and work with the people in their comfort zones as well.
Tara, anything else you want to say before we say so long? Maybe another plug for Troy and all your businesses or anything else that is on your mind today?
Yeah, well, one of the things we are doing, again, the Troy Chamber of Commerce, if you go to their website, we do have a COVID resource page. So we're updating that with restaurant information. But one of the other things is we're seeing a lot of industries looking for PPE products. We're compiling that as well, so people will be able to go and look at who's supplying them and make it a little more simplified. Also, with that being said, you may want to reach, when you see Dave, they actually just announced a really great grant for nonprofit organizations. And the Troy Chamber is known for having a very large resource of nonprofits. So there is going to be a great grant around funding nonprofits. I believe it's $10 million from the county and United Way of Southeast Michigan.
All right, listen, when I get Coulter on in a couple of minutes, I'm going to tell him you stole his headline from him.
Take it. Is it? Well, good, because it's important to support our nonprofits. And I was really grateful to see that.
It's been way out of the media for the past several days. It's good to hear you mention it. And we know you do have a lot of great nonprofits in Troy. And glad to see that you're happy with that county program. So we'll talk to Dave.
For sure.
We'll tell him you said hello. Tara, thank you very much for joining us today. I appreciate it.
Thanks. See you guys.
She is the president and CEO of the Troy Chamber, joining us here today. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to check in with our good friend Kelly Woodley, the property manager of Orchard Mall, as we head back over to West Bloomfield, and then County Executive Dave Coulter checking in on the show as well. This is the Megacast. Tyler, anything else you want to add before we go back to break?
No, it's this is the Oakland County Megacast. You're watching us also on the Orchard Mall's Facebook page via Facebook Live, and we'll talk to Kelly about her partnership in the community, as well as the Orchard Mall's businesses and their plans for reopening going forward when we come back after this very short break. You are watching and listening to the Megacast.
Coronavirus has put us to the test. Now it's time to put it to the test. We've greatly expanded testing in Michigan. So people who think they may have COVID-19 with symptoms like fever, cough, and shortness of breath can get tested. And those without symptoms who work in public can now get tested, as they could carry the virus. Start by calling your healthcare provider or contacting a testing site near you. Learn more at michigan.gov/coronavirus test. A message from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jonay Khaldun. I'm the Chief Medical Executive for the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. The people who are at highest risk of getting severely ill from COVID-19 are the elderly and those with chronic medical conditions. That includes people with heart disease, diabetes, COPD, or those who have compromised immune systems. People who are in those categories should right now be staying at home as much as possible and not going out if it is not essential. If you fit into one of those categories, those are the things you should do. And if you have a family member who fits into one of those categories, you should be checking in on them and making sure they are following those guidelines. There's something everyone can do to protect the community from COVID-19.
Hi, my name is Kurt Lawson, and I'm the Public Information Officer for West Bloomfield Township. We wanted to reach out to you, our older adults, to provide information that you may find useful during this difficult time. We want to ensure you that West Bloomfield Town Hall, our Waters and Utility Department, West Bloomfield Parks, and our police and fire departments continue to work hard on your behalf. Information and resources can be found on the Township website, the police Facebook and Twitter, or call West Bloomfield Park's COVID-19 Help Hotline. Please remember to keep your social distance of at least 6 feet, wear facial coverings when you leave your home, and wash your hands for at least 20 seconds with soap. These precautions will help keep you safe during these difficult times.
Welcome back to the Oakland County Megacast. I'm Tyler Kieft.
And I'm Dave Scott. Let's go back out to the field now. Our own Erica Jones is on Telegraph Road today, checking in on area businesses to see how they are doing as they're reopening. We're going to get to Kelly Woodley just a couple of minutes at the Orchard Mall, Old Orchard Mall in West Bloomfield, Orchard Mall, forgive me, in West Bloomfield. But Erica Jones is out on Telegraph. And Erica, where are you and what's going on?
I'm here at Leo's Coney Island on Maple and Telegraph, where they are now open again for dine-in and takeout. So let's head inside and see what's going on. And they are also now hiring. So as you can see, when we walk in, there actually are people sitting inside the restaurant. So let's go talk to some people. Yeah, definitely some people. They have these tables blocked off, as you can see. They have almost shower curtains, I want to say, over here.
I love the shower curtain thing. That is really cool.
Yeah, isn't it unique? That's very creative. So let's see. Excuse me. Hi, I'm live on Civic Center TV, the local West Bloomfield and Oakland County Cable Commission. I was wondering if you would just want to talk for a minute about how your opening has been. Okay, that'd be great. So we're gonna see if we can get one.
All right,
they're a little busy.
Hang on just a second. While we're doing that, Tyler and I are going to chat here for a minute. This is the live Coney Cam, Tyler, first ever in broadcasting. We have we have Eric.
I'm live on Civic Center TV, the local West Bloomfield and Oakland County Cable Commission. Would you just want to talk for a second about how your opening has been?
All right.
Oh, did you want to speak?
Hey,
all right,
Erica,
no worries.
Erica,
thank you.
Erica, we're going to have to run along. I apologize.
So all right, no worries.
We're going to get some comments from them and share it with us later on. But
definitely.
Listen, I appreciate the report. And Tyler Keefe, I'm going to send it back to you. That is, Erica, can you show us real quick? Can you go back and show us one of the booths with the shower curtain? I got to see that one time. That is the coolest thing ever. Tyler, check this out. All right. Erica, can you go sit in there and see what it's like, and then close the shower curtain on yourself?
I don't know.
Just go ahead and do it. They can send me a bill. Are they going to get mad at you if you do that?
I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
Okay, we'll find it. We're going to go. Okay, so Erica Jones is at the Coney Island on Telegraph right now, checking out the newest intervention in barriers during the COVID-19 crisis. So she doesn't want to do it anymore, Tyler.
No, I did.
Oh, okay, good. Thank you, Erica. That is Tyler. Good job, Erica. Thank you for a great report. I really appreciate it. Tyler, that is the coolest barrier I have seen yet. Larry, maybe you can mute Erica here for a minute. But that is the coolest barrier that I have seen yet, Tyler Keefe.
Oh, it's great. I think it's another one of those ideas that's very innovative and different, and it's a little quirky, but it's fun. I like it.
All right. I got to get Kelly Woodley's comment on this one because she was watching it cracking up the whole time. And then I'll get out of the way and let you two chat. Larry, can you bring in Kelly? Is that okay? Kelly, how you doing today?
I'm good, Dave. How are you?
I am fantastic. Kelly Woodley is a property manager of the Orchard Mall of West Bloomfield. We're probably going to hear about that report. But that is cool. We have seen all kinds of cool things here over the past couple of days. And I know that broadcasting is a little bit crazy when we have our live Coney Cam just running out there without much warning. But have you seen a shower curtain for a booth at a restaurant yet?
No, I have not. And I was cracking up the whole time. It's hilarious, but I love it.
It's a good idea. I like it.
Great.
Maybe if more restaurants put the shower curtain idea into place, we could maybe have more density. And Tyler, of course, I have a name for it.
Oh, I'll have to mark this down.
I have a name. You can only guess. It's a shower curtain during the COVID-19 crisis. So it would be the COVID curtain.
The COVID curtain.
It's the COVID curtain. Put that in our vocabulary. We're going to call that thing the COVID curtain. Coming to restaurants near you all over Metro Detroit.
It's official now. It's in our COVID vocabulary. We have the COVID curtain in our lexicon now, Dave.
All right, I'm going to hand it over to you and Kelly to get out of the way. But Kelly, my first question, and Tyler's going to pick it up. I'm sure you're working on equally innovative things at the Orchard Mall to make things work there.
I'm embarrassed to say I have not come up with anything quite that creative just yet.
So what are some things? But what are some things that you've seen? Maybe you yourself or other businesses that are in the Orchard Mall have been doing for those innovations to enact those social distancing measures and extra safety precautions, restaurants and retail alike, because there's such a variety at the Orchard Mall that we've seen throughout all these other businesses throughout the county.
Everyone, our retailers and our restaurateurs have been working hard and putting their own procedures into place. So each store is going to be a little bit different. When you arrive at the mall, we are asking that everyone wear a face mask as a courtesy to others. We've increased our cleaning protocols at the mall. So you'll see our staff working hard to clean the entryways, clean the common area restrooms, clean all the touch points, even more than we always have. So you'll be seeing those in the common areas and different procedures put in place in each of the businesses. So yesterday, I was lucky enough to have lunch at the Jagged Fork. That's one of our restaurants. And one of the things that they're doing that I really liked was, in addition to having disposable menus, they also have touchless menus. So you can just pull up the app on your phone and scan the QR code, and you can just view the menu right there. You don't even have to touch anything. They're also spacing their tables apart, so all of the tables are at least 6 feet apart. Their staff are all wearing appropriate masks, and no more condiment bottles on the table. Everything comes in your own little one serving size. What else did I see there that they were doing well? They're going to try to get some outdoor seating there. Hand sanitizer on every table. So our restaurants are working hard and excited to be back open again. Retail, as you know, is also open again. Each of the retailers have a little bit of a different procedure in their stores. So we're advising people to sort of check before they come out. Some retailers are preferring to take appointments ahead of time so that they can make sure that everyone feels safe and comfortable They're keeping their social distancing within their stores, wearing the appropriate PPE. And, Tyler, we're just all excited to be back.
Yeah, it's a great time for these businesses, and we've seen that a lot too with other businesses we've talked to and those that we've visited also in the field with Erica Jones. They're all elated to be back and have people back in the stores. Curbside's great for keeping business going, but there's nothing like interacting with your customers. And so they've been working on these procedures. They've been working on retraining their staff for a post-COVID world as we're slowly but surely emerging out of this pandemic. But some retailers have opened right away, and some retailers have said, we're going to wait a little bit. At the Orchard Mall, have you seen it be mostly one way or another? Has it been a mixture of both? And maybe what's the motivation behind taking one path or the other?
I think it has been a good mixture of both. And you have to do what makes you feel comfortable, what makes your staff feel comfortable, and also what's going to make your customers feel more comfortable. So what I've just been completely amazed by is the adaptability that our retailers have had. So I think most of them are doing a little bit of everything. They're seeing customers in person. They're doing virtual appointments for those of us that aren't comfortable rushing right back out to the mall. And they're still extending the curbside and delivery services. So I think they're doing a really nice job of providing a little bit of everything for everyone.
I'm seeing a lot more traffic in the community, too, as I'm coming in to work and as I'm leaving in the afternoon. A lot of that has to be with people who are re-engaged in the economy. They're going back to work if they've been working at home, or they're going back out and going to these restaurants and going to these shops. At the Orchard Mall, with the variety that is there, Kelly Woodley, the property manager at the Orchard Mall with us on the Megacast. Have you seen it be more of a slow trickle back in as far as foot traffic? Has it been a flood or somewhere in between?
It's been a little bit slower. We do have 2 salons that aren't quite open yet. Our Planet Fitness and some of our fitness users are a little bit behind. They don't have full reign to open back up yet. So, but I think the pace is good. The pace allows for a little more comfort. You can get the retail open, get the restaurants open, and our salons have been busy putting their protocols in place. So they're going to be ready and they're going to be busy, and before you know it, that parking lot is going to be full again. So it's going to be great.
It is, and we're going to see very soon as southeastern Michigan, as the rest of the state, hopefully in the next couple weeks, as the governor has said, will enter phase 5, which will include personal services and will include gyms. And even before that, June 15th, salons and barbershops and so on will be reopening as well. But every business is different, and they're going about the layout a little bit differently. But the Orchard Mall is also its own entity with these businesses in there. So there are differences that we're going to notice going into malls now going forward. As far as the open spaces and the recreational areas, that's going to be different than before the pandemic.
I think like everyone else, we're going to really take up the level of cleaning services that are provided. We've always done a good job of cleaning, but we want to make sure that people are seeing us cleaning on a daily basis throughout the day. So all of the touch points will get an extra level of care. We're installing touch-free hand sanitizing stations, requiring the masks, doing everything that we can to make sure that people feel comfortable while they're visiting us, because health and safety has been our number one goal all the way along. We've come this far, and our retailers have worked so hard that we want to make this getting back just the most positive and just the most wonderful time.
And that's the kind of effort that we need to be seeing from these businesses and from the malls as they do reopen, is that they're putting in that sweat equity, and they're making those tough decisions and going through those tough periods of retraining, because it's a completely different world we're living in now. It truly is a new normal. We've asked this of other business owners and of other managers throughout the local area as retail reopens, as restaurants reopen. What can customers do as they're coming back into the mall, as they're re-engaging with these businesses that maybe are open right now or are going to be opening soon, like haircut salons and nail salons that people have been clamoring to go to, and gyms like Planet Fitness there in Orchard Mall that people I'm sure have been clamoring to go to for several months. What can customers do to make that a good, safe and a healthy and a kind return process, both for the businesses and for the general public?
I think the number one thing that we can ask of our customers coming back is to just be mindful. we don't all have to share the same opinions of which method works best or what's too soon and what isn't too soon. Let's just agree to have our own opinions and just do what we can to keep each other safe. Safety and health is most important to us, and we all want to see you. Our retailers are so excited to see their clients again. So we just want to be patient and be mindful and just know that, we're all looking out for each other. We all want the same thing. So it's going to be a learning curve, but a little bit of patience and thoughtfulness will go a long way.
Joining us is Kelly Woodley, the property manager of the Orchard Mall in West Bloomfield. They're also our Facebook partner today. We are live with them on their Facebook page throughout the show. Kelly Woodley, before we let you go, anything else that you'd like to touch on that we haven't spoke about, or anything else you'd like to say?
No, I think that about covers it. I thank you again for having me. I hope to see you all at the Orchard Mall very soon. Like I said, we're all super excited to see our customers, clients, and friends again. We'll do what we can to keep everyone safe and healthy, and we'll just continue to go from there.
Well, hopefully it will be a smooth return, and we'll soon see that foot traffic really increase and that excitement show in our retailers and in our other businesses all throughout West Bloomfield, including at the Orchard Mall. Kelly Woodley, thank you for being with us today.
Thanks, Tyler.
Absolutely. Kelly Woodley, the property manager of the Orchard Mall, with us on the Oakland County Megacast. They are also our Facebook partner today. We're going to take a very short break, and when we come back, we will speak with the Oakland County Executive, Dave Coulter, about some new programs helping nonprofits in our community and the continued response to the COVID-19 pandemic. That and more coming up on the Oakland County Megacast.
Michigan, we're calling on you to save lives. Don't ignore it. Don't let it go to voicemail. It's urgent. In fact, it's critical. Because if you've been in close contact with someone who tests positive for COVID-19, you may have been exposed to the virus. And you could get a call from My COVID Help or your local health department. So please answer the call to learn how to protect yourself, your family, and friends. We're calling on you to stop the spread of COVID-19, to make it safe to reopen businesses and help Michigan move forward. So if you get a call from My COVID Help or your local health department, you may have been exposed to someone with COVID-19. To protect us all, answer the call. Learn more at michigan.gov/contain-COVID. A message from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services.
It's the Oakland County Megacast on 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm Tyler Kieft.
And I'm Dave Scott. Thank you very much for joining us. I happen to be in Troy today in our Motown Digital Troy studios. Tyler Keith is in our Walnut Lake Road Lakes FM studios. We're broadcasting all across Oakland County. We actually physically are now all across Oakland County now that we have our studios open here in Troy. Joining us is the Oakland County Executive, Dave Coulter, the guy who's got the coolest backgrounds on Zoom of anybody that I know. That's a great shot of the Oakland County Executive Office building behind you, County Executive.
Thank you. You know, I'm actually standing out in front of the building right now.
Yeah, just stop it. Listen, hey, congratulations on all that you're doing. I just want you to know that the studio that I'm in now is now open again, and your kits were very helpful. You made these business reopening startup kits available, and lots of good stuff in there. We put your kit to work here, and we reopened this building, so thank you.
I'm so happy to hear that. You know, we made 10,000 of those kits, and now my big worry is maybe we'll need more, but we knew that it was important to get small businesses and back up and running in a way that is safe and has the supplies that they need. You know, each one of those kits came with like $400 worth of PPE, sanitizer and masks and things, plus social distancing guidelines. And so I'm so glad that you were able to get one. And by the way, we're providing them not only to our small businesses, but to our nonprofits and our our faith-based communities, churches and synagogues and the like as well, so that everybody can be as safe as possible as we move to this new phase of reopening.
Well, we're doing a good job. More and more businesses are opening, and we continue to hear ways that you're taking federal dollars in Oakland County and making those dollars available for the rest of the community. And the latest grant program that you have available out now is targeted at nonprofits in the county. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so we're going to, we know that nonprofits are struggling just as much as our small businesses. Their revenues have dried up. A lot of them had fundraisers planned and the like. And yet at the same time, the need for their services has increased. They take care of the most vulnerable people in our population and in our county, and we need to support them. So with the help of the Board of Commissioners, we put $10 million aside to help support our nonprofit organizations in Oakland County who are doing such an incredible job, from food to mental health services to homelessness to transportation, just a variety of things that they're working on. So we put aside $10 million to keep them afloat and to make up for some of the shortfall that they've gotten since their fundraising has dried up.
Is it obvious how they are able to apply for those dollars? Is it an application process, Dave?
Yeah, there's an application process. I'd encourage them, and most of them have heard about this already, but it's on our website, oakgov.com, and then you go to the COVID-19 button and all the information is there. So, yep.
So we've been hearing good news from Northern Michigan in the past 24 hours. Over the couple of weeks that they have had their restaurants open and their retail establishments open, we've not seen a spike in Northern Michigan of COVID-19 cases. Now, their base of cases up there is very small relative to what we've had here in Oakland County, but it's good news, and it's got to make all of us down here feel better as we do see the restaurants open, that we know that we can open them and do it in a safe way and not have a negative impact on health.
Yeah, I mean, it is encouraging, and I hope that trend continues. It's something that obviously we have to watch very carefully. I was reading another article this morning, I believe it was in the Wall Street Journal, that said there's 15 states that currently posted their highest 7-day total to date. So, this virus is dangerous, and it's deceptive, and it's slippery, and just as we think we've got it under control over here, it can pop up over here. And so that's not to say that will happen up north, but boy, it sure has to be something we all keep an eye on, because even as we're reopening our economy and we're all feeling good about getting back to some kind of normal, this virus is still with us in Oakland County. It kills someone almost every day in this county. Every day, dozens of people are getting infected. So we just, I know it's tough, but we have to do both. We have to reopen, and we have to get back to life and back to get our economy rolling again. But boy, I can't emphasize enough how important it is to do it safely with the masks and the sanitizer and the 6 feet social distancing, so that we don't get that next spike.
Well, I just want to give you a report. One of the beautiful things about doing this show is we can see all the media accounts, but we have the opportunity to get out in the field and actually see things firsthand. And we just go out and we take our cameras and do that. So just a couple of observations in the field. First of all, Erica Jones, I wish I recorded this video. Erica Jones, our field reporter today, just walked into the Coney Island at Telegraph and Maple. And to date, they have the coolest booth isolation setup of anything we've seen. They got these plastic dividers on each side of the booth. And then listen to this, Coulter. You ready for this? This is going to blow your mind. And then they have a shower curtain, a plastic shower curtain that you pull in front of the booth. I've dubbed it the COVID curtain here on the show. But, it's like, who comes up with this stuff? And I don't know if it's the best solution, but you know what it tells me? It says the folks, and I think that's a Leo's, I'm not sure, but it says the folks at that Coney Island, they're like scratching their head. They're doing everything they can to come up with the best answer possible, and they came up with a COVID curtain.
Yeah, I know. I love that. I haven't seen that, but I know where you're talking about, and I'm going to pop in there. And this is what I tell people that ask me, because all the time I get one of these two things. Man, this place is really doing a great job, and I'm really happy, and thanks for encouraging them. Or this place isn't doing a great job. Their employees aren't wearing the masks. They're not doing it like they're supposed to. And one of the things I encourage people to do, they can call our hotline and report those. But what I tell people to do is go find the manager, good or bad, and tell them, hey, if they're doing a great job like the Coney, tell them you appreciate it. Tell them that they will get your business because that that they're trying to keep you safe and you appreciate it. And vice versa. If that doesn't feel like a business that's taking all the precautions that they should, don't go post on social, whatever. Go up to the manager and say, hey, you know what? I don't feel comfortable here. I don't think you're taking all the precautions that I've been told you need to take, and I'll come back when you do those things. I think that will go a long way. That's what I mean by we're all in this together. And so share those stories with the management. But that's an awesome. That's
a good. I got another one for you, but I just want to let you know, relative to what you just said, it's hard. Even here at my business, I had a consultant on earlier who said when people check in, because we got a checklist at the door. We've got the thermometer and the health checklist that everyone's been recommending. Yep. But what we got wrong is that it's on a clipboard, and the people that work here deserve the privacy of their information. So we're going to change it into like a suggestion box at the result of an earlier interview. So there is.
And Dave, let me just say on that point, we're not trying to penalize people who didn't get it perfectly right. I'm not trying to fill up the jails or write tickets to everybody who didn't exactly follow the orders to the letter. Because what I've seen is that most people are trying to do the right thing as they know it. And so we're trying to be helpful. We're trying to give them information, point out how to do it. And that's a great example of, hey, you shouldn't be punished for that. You got it right, and you're trying to do it right. And
it's comedy. Dave Coulter, County Executive. It's complicated out here, and I know you know it. And all the help that you have on the Oakland County website that we have linked from civiccentertv.com/coronavirus. All the information that you have there is amazing. Okay, one other really quick, really cool story from yesterday. We were broadcasting live yesterday morning. This is in Sylvan Lake. And it's the Grill in Sylvan Lake, right on Orchard Lake Road, just a little bit west of Telegraph. And the restaurants that are opening, they have to do their social distancing now, right? So rather than take all the tables out, which is a big pain, this restaurant, the Grill, put these stuffed animals, these very intimidating stuffed animals on the tables that aren't open. Vicky there, the manager and owner there at the Grill, calls them COVID monsters. So, these business owners, these small business owners in Oakland County, I get a chance to see them. They blow me away, and I'm sure that it has the same impact on you.
It really does. I really, far and away, the vast majority of business owners are just trying to do the right thing, trying to keep their employees safe, trying to keep their customers safe, and figure out how to do it. And I love when people do it in sort of creative ways, like the stuffed animals and the shower curtains. It's really warmed my heart. There's a perception that our businesses were really, clamoring to reopen early, and that wasn't my experience at all. What businesses were saying is, what's the guidelines? How do we do this? How do we do it safely so that everybody's protected? And I really appreciate them for stepping up and doing it in fun ways as well.
Absolutely. Dave Coulter, County Executive, former mayor of Ferndale. So I ask you about this trend that our downtowns and businesses are beginning to be allowed by the LCC, the local municipalities, and the state to start working towards more outdoor dining and more outdoor beverage consumption. Are you seeing that moving quickly around the county, in your thoughts?
Yeah, I do see it moving quickly. It's moved quickly even over the last few years. Patrons' preference is to sit outside when at all possible. I think it's because we have such long, harsh winters, and people just want to be outside as much as they can. And I know this hit Ferndale a few years ago, where restaurants that didn't have a lot of space got really creative about using every last square foot that they had to put some outdoor seating in there. And yeah, I think it's a good thing. Certainly helpful during the COVID situation, obviously, but I think it's a trend that you're going to see in restaurants going forward, accelerating. And I certainly encourage it, and whatever I can do to make that easier to happen, I think it's a great trend.
All right. Well, it's we got great places in Oakland County, Rochester, and Birmingham, and Royal Oak, and Ferndale. I can go on and on. all of them are perfectly suited for this kind of activity. I've not talked to you since all the protests have been happening, and we've seen a lot of them very peaceful in Oakland County. We've not had any, massive problems here in our county that I can think of. But have you been impressed with the with the depth of these activities? I mean, this is not just something that came and went. There's a serious movement in our country to get the attention of law enforcement and the community at large over what's been going on.
I've been very impressed. As you said, we've had protest marches all over the county for the last 10 days or so that continue to go on. I think there was one in Clarkston last night. Imagine that. There was actually one in Howell over the weekend. And if you're as old as me, you understand Howell has a difficult history with this issue. And the fact that it's happening in places like Howell actually makes me encouraged. And I participated in a couple of them, and a couple of things that strike me. Number one, they're mostly being led by young people. And I think that's so encouraging. These young people take this very seriously. They care a lot about it, and they're passionate about it, and they're organizing. And it's what we want our young people to do. Number two, at least in Oakland County, but I think you've seen it across the country, a mix of races, and even in many cases, majority white marches because it is Oakland County. But you're seeing people, black and white coming together with a common purpose that I think is very encouraging. And it feels like we've reached a tipping point. I'm not exactly sure why it took George Floyd versus all of the other incidents that happened. I suspect that coronavirus actually has something to do with it, because we saw in coronavirus the disparity by race and health outcomes, right? That Black people were more affected by this. And so there was already this heightened sensitivity. We know there is inequality in our healthcare system for people of color. Now we see it again in our criminal justice system. We see it in our education system. So I'm encouraged that they're peaceful, they're youth-led, and I really hope, and I want to be part of helping them lead to actual real changes that make a difference for everybody in our county.
Well, Dave Coulter, well said. Thank you very much for joining us. We will have that dialogue in another day, but the clock is going to take over right now, so we got to say so long. Thank you, though, very much for being with us. Good to see you today.
Always a pleasure to join you. Thank you.
All right, very good. He is our county executive, Dave Coulter, joining us right here on the Megacast. And with a few final seconds, Tyler, we have anything that you want to add before we say so long?
I think the messages we got from Dave Coulter about the way that the county has engaged with our local business community to help them through this, it's been great. And it's also been great to see that they're focusing now, the Oakland County Commission and the executive's office, they're also focusing on nonprofits. And like you said, on the protest front, it's great to see communities that have not previously been engaged in this kind of activism or have had issues with the current issues at hand in the past, turning around it and learning in this process. And it's good to see that as well. And Oakland County continue to make great change in our community as we continue to fight this COVID-19 pandemic.
All right, very good. Well, we have about 3 minutes left. Tyler, I think you have a copy of it. I'm digging mine up right now. And that is our COVID-19 vocabulary. And why don't you just start ripping through there, if you don't mind?
All right, so the first one we have is flatten the curve. Flatten the curve is a concerted effort by the community to prevent the exponential spread of COVID-19, which we have successfully done. The next one on the list, of course, Dave, is physical distancing, which is keeping a distance of at least 6 feet or more from other people to reduce your chances of spreading the virus.
All right, I now have my list, so I'm going to jump around here in the interest of time, and also we'll make sure we get to as many of these as we can in an abundance of caution.
Yes, taking extra precautions to make sure you're keeping yourself and others safe from COVID-19.
No longer do we have a stay-at-home order, and thank goodness, but that was tough when we had the stay-at-home order.
Yeah, it was really tough to stay at home unless you were an essential worker or going to an essential activity like getting groceries and so on.
We're going to tell our kids someday we had a stay-at-home order, and they're going to go, what the heck? Are you kidding? What was wrong with you guys? What is the non-dominant hand?
Yes, your non-dominant hand is what you should use to open doors and pick up objects so that you're not engaging with potential COVID-19 surfaces and then scratching your face with your dominant hand. So if you're right-handed, use your left hand.
All right, could you see me on TV
I
right
can.
now?
Nice mask. Thank
All
you.
right.
Very nice.
This is what I'm seeing everywhere.
no.
This is no good. You can't do this. You might as well not be wearing the mask. And, you know, people do that because they get fogged up when they do that.
Right.
But that is facial covering displacement, if I'm correct, Tyler.
Yes, facial covering displacement. It's when you're not wearing your face mask in the correct way, and it really just renders it ineffective. You want it over your nose and over your chin.
All right, just a couple of things as I get my IFB back in here. COVID monster. What the heck is a COVID
COVID
monster?
monster is an intimidating stuffed animal put on tables in restaurants to say, hey, don't sit here. You're too close to another table. We got to keep our social distance.
And I blew it last night. I did not get out and have a cocktail. I did not have a quarantini, but I will later on today.
Quarantini is a special COVID-19 themed martini.
All right, and the new one we came up with today, unbelievable. The COVID curtain.
Yes, the COVID curtain. Yes, COVID curtain is a curtain put up at a booth at a restaurant to separate you from those walking by and make sure you have your social distance and a block between you and the serving staff when they're not engaging with you.
All right, and for those of you that are watching, these are COVID curls that result of the host not being able to get a haircut for several months. Hey, that's going to be it for the show. Thanks for tuning in. I think it worked out pretty well in our dual studio thing, Tyler. Maybe we try it again tomorrow.
Yeah, it worked out very well. We got about 10 seconds left, so I'll wrap it up over here for our TV and our radio side. Dave, anything else?
Nope, thanks.
Wonderful. Dave Scott in Troy, and I'm Tyler Keefe. Thank you.